And so it's not about perfection. I want to throw that out. If you're like, Becca, I can't even track my kids' shoe size. Listen, it's not about that. But it is about just keeping notes, keeping some data on what you're trying to do. It's about awareness and momentum in the areas that you want to improve. Hello and welcome to the Encourager Podcast, where we talk about real life and real systems so you can joyfully harmonize both home and work. I'm your host, Rebecca Scott. I'm a wife, mom, designer, coach, and lifelong systems thinker. And I help overwhelmed women build simple, sustainable rhythms that actually work for their real lives. Around here, we talk about priorities, pre-decisions, and practical tools that bring peace instead of pressure. Because you don't need more hustle, you need better systems and more grace. Today's episode is a good one. Hello, Encouragers. On this week's podcast, I want to talk to you about my hardest working tools in my 5 systems. You know that I coach frequently on my 5 system framework. I believe everybody works within these systems, and most of the things that we are creating are to make these 5 areas of our life better. And that is your me system, your food system, your family system, your home system, and your work system. And I have some tools that are all available on my podcast website, theencouragerpodcast.com, that you can use. Now, you already have some tools that you are using. So these are just some additional that work for me. These are my hardest working tools. But I ask you, in the first 10 minutes of listening to the podcast, ask yourself, what are your hardest working tools? And how can you either double down on them or just thank the good Lord and yourself for using these tools? Simple tools used consistently create more peace than complicated systems used occasionally. Think about it. The simplest tools are the ones that you just use over and over. But if it is too complicated or too involved, you're only going to use it occasionally. And I see this time and time again with the coaching. They will tell me their current system, and we will narrow down the steps because they only use it occasionally because it's so robust to begin with. I also think that overwhelmed women often think they just need more motivation, but what they actually really need is just repeatable tools. And these tools I'm going to tell you about have carried me through raising kids, running Rebecca Scott Designs, running the podcast, busy sports seasons, busy harvest seasons, hard emotional seasons, launches, and deadlines. I have used these tools throughout all of those things. They are not glamorous by any means, but they are dependable. Tool number 1, my weekly agenda. This was from a podcast that I recorded called I Threw My Planner Away. Very provocative title, but it's the truth. I use this thing all the time. It touches many of the systems. It touches the work system, the home system, the family system, and the me system, because my weekly agenda is a sheet of paper that serves as my planner, in quotations, for the week. I download it every Sunday night. I refill it out. Some things I have to transfer from the week before, but rather than carrying around a thick, bulky planner, I only carry around my weekly agenda. I do encourage you to listen to that podcast as well, but I'll tell you a little bit about what's on my weekly agenda. It lays out the days of the week. It lays out lunch and supper and what I do for the theme of that day. So for example, my Monday says lunch, supper, 1 production video for RSD and 1 production video for the Encourager. Brenda comes to do pickup and drop off with the purses. I do my fabric order, I surge, and I do kits, I do tagging, the need to photo bin, and the Monday marketing email to staff. Now, obviously, those are all for my work, but you get an idea of what it looks like. And then it just says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It has a little block for my goals on there. This is a downloadable that you can personalize for yourself on our website. It is so simple, but it is hard working. It allows me to look at the whole week without getting a lot of anxiety. I don't have to look too far in advance. I do look at far in advance on my actual calendar, but I have a paper calendar, not a planner. It just hangs up high. Just allows me to stay focused on what I can do this week. I got to tell you though, 1 week I skipped this, and I have not skipped using my weekly agenda for, I bet, 5 years. Like, even if I'm going to be gone on a Sunday and I won't return until Monday when it would normally be done, I print it off so that I can do it on my trip. Like, it's that hardworking of a tool. Like, I need this for me to be able to focus on the week ahead. And I thought, you know what? It's fine. I'll fill it out on Tuesday. I was lost. I could not figure out what day it was, what I was supposed to do that day. I ran into scrambling at the end of the week because I was like, oh my gosh, I had not written you and told you what the cut list was for this week because I didn't have the agenda sheet. So, warning, if you end up using the weekly agenda, that's a free resource. I don't want to say you'll become addicted, but you will use it all the time. So I want you to ask yourself this. Do you currently have one trusted place for your week? Tool number 2, the Honey Huddle. Oh, I talk about this one a lot. This is definitely touching the systems of family, home, and work. It is a downloadable on our podcast website, theencouragerpodcast.com. It's called the Honey Huddle. It's a meeting you have with your spouse to be on the same page. I've had some that I have coached that like to do it monthly. I have some that like to do it weekly. My husband and I, we do it monthly. Helps us get on the same page. We talk about the calendar. We talk about each one of the kids. We talk about some stress points with them. We talk about meal planning. We talk about the budget. We talk about kids and parenting. We talk about our dreams within it. It's a really good checkpoint in the month to plan ahead and to be on the same page. I've given an example in a podcast before this, but one really cool thing that happened from our monthly Honey Huddle is that there's an area on it that says dreams and goals. It's just a way for both of us to recognize that we each have individualist dreams and we have dreams together. And we also have goals that are individuals, but then we also have goals that are together. And one of Nick's goals was to go on a big hunting trip. And we weren't sure at the time he wanted to do the Yukon, but Africa came up and he was able to go with a best friend. And it was such a beautiful moment that when he got to go to Africa after planning for this and putting in our honey agenda and revisiting it monthly, I bet we revisited it for probably 2 years. It might even have been closer to 30 months by the time he actually got to go on the trip. But when you mention it monthly, it's like we started thinking about how could we make this happen, and opportunities started coming to him to make it happen. So it's really cool. Some of my goals have been realized with it, especially for Rebecca Scott Designs, as I laid out, like, I want to be able to do some more speaking, and those have started. And the thing is all we did was write it down. It didn't necessarily mean we started taking action on it, but reminding ourselves monthly that this was a goal or a dream did put things into action. So I highly encourage the Honey Huddle as one of your hardest working tools. Tool number 3, habit tracker. Oh gosh, I love the habit tracker. I have it in my closet because I get to see it before I go to bed and I get to see it when I wake up. And I have some really silly things on there, some that I would never even mention to you guys because they seem so silly, and some that I'd be free to share. But this tool, the habit tracker, has really helped me just become aware of what consistency can do. And so it's not about perfection. I want to throw that out. If you're like, Becca, I can't even track my kids' shoe size. Listen, it's not about that. But it is about just keeping notes, keeping some data on what you're trying to do. It's about awareness and momentum in the areas that you want to improve. Okay. So here's some examples of stuff you could put on there. Drink more water. I didn't put 32 ounces. I didn't put 64 ounces. I just said drink more water. And guess what? I got better at drinking more water because I wanted to put the X in at the end of the night. Maybe it's self-care. So maybe it's your vitamins. Maybe it's Bible reading. I told you guys a while back in the podcast that I started tracking how many times I get down on my knees to pray. It's just something that I want to know that I'm being purposeful. And guess what? Sometimes I read praying on my knees before I actually prayed on my knees. So gentle reminder, yes, I'm going to surrender. I'm going to surrender on my prayer mat and talk to God. Maybe you want to track your sleep. I know that they have digital devices for this. Believe me, I know. But there is something about a piece of paper that I read that's not on a device to reimagine your brain and all that stuff just getting involved again. It's just a piece of paper. Maybe it's phone limits. Another one that I have on mine this last month was more listening, less talking. Now, if you ask like goal experts, they'd be like, you can't put that on there because you can't measure it. But I can put it on my habit tracker. And then when I read it, it allows me to go, did I spend more time listening today or more time talking today? When I was visiting with my youngest child, Pix, was I really listening or was I not? And so I've really liked putting that one. I've only started doing it in about May, but I'm going to continue it through the rest of the year so I get really better at listening and less talking. It's just a visual reminder of consistency and things that you want to see happen. Remember, what gets tracked gets noticed. Just going to encourage you. Write down 3 habits. Maybe it's you pause the podcast right now. You write these down. Maybe you just track them on your phone. Maybe you download the resource that's free on our website. But whatever you do, let's just track 3 things. Hey, encouragers. Hope you're enjoying this episode. We'll be right back after this short break. This episode of The Encourager is brought to you by Rebecca Scott Designs, where we create thoughtfully designed purses and accessories that support your real life, not just your outfit. Every bag is designed with intention, handcrafted right here in South Dakota, and built around the belief that beauty and function should work together. From custom fabrics and linings to leathers, zippers, and really cool features, you get to design a piece that truly fits your life. Visit designyourownbag.com to create your own custom bag and use code ENCOURAGER for $10 off your purchase. Tool number 4, blocking and theme days. The biggest system that this one touched in my 5-system framework is definitely your work system. Time blocking is something that has just drastically changed how I run my businesses because one of them is manufacturing, the purses and accessories, and one of them is the coaching and the podcasting that we have here. But I had a hard time changing my brain from the manufacturing to the podcasting. So I knew I needed to block in certain hours that would be for RSD and certain hours that would be for the encourager so that I didn't have to go between tasks so frequently because I would lose some momentum. And so what would that look like for you guys to do time blocking? So for example, theme days or time blocking. On Tuesdays, it's all about content creation. You better believe I have my hair and my makeup done. I've got the product laid out. I am going to record as many videos as I possibly can on Tuesdays. On Tuesday afternoons, I'm going to do a lot of admin work. On Thursdays, I'm going to record podcasts. On Fridays, it's just a catch-up day. Like I literally put a time block and it's called catch-up day. It's the things that I couldn't get done during the week that I just need to catch up on. You know how people say, it's been 2 weeks since I had a catch-up day. I don't do that. I can't do that. I can't with what I have lined up and the roles that God has given me. I need to have a catch-up day once a week. And so I do mine on Friday mornings. This is similar to batching. Some will call it habit stacking. Whichever way you want to look at it, I highly encourage you to do time blocking for certain tasks or pick theme days, like especially depending on the ages of your kids. Sometimes it's easier to have a theme than it is to say I'm going to work from 9 to noon. Sometimes it's not so nice and neat. Also, my brain doesn't work really great when I'm like, I have to sit in this chair from 9 to noon, but my brain works really great when I say the theme for the next 3 hours is podcasting. So ask yourself, what if every day didn't need to hold every role and I tried some theme days? Tool number 5, brain dumping. Oh man, if I tally the amount of times I've said brain dumping in the last 10 episodes, we would all know what it is, right? It's a great method when you're feeling overwhelmed. It touches all of the 5 systems. It's just a great way to quickly eliminate overwhelm. Get it out of your head. Get it on a piece of paper, dump it onto your phone, whatever that looks like for you. I just get it out. I use paper and pencil because I like to see it. I like to know that I'm writing things down and my hands can hopefully write as fast as my brain is, but I just get to see all of it. I get to see it all on a piece of paper. And here's the rule. You do not organize it at first. I don't even care if you write it in bullet points or if you just write it in circles or whatever you do. I just want you to just literally think of a purse, dumping it upside down and taking out all the contents. That's what you're doing with your brain. You're just going to turn it upside down, get everything on a piece of paper. Then you can set to organizing it, but not at first. Just empty all the tabs that you have open. This is like the middle of the night thoughts, the random tasks. Maybe it's emotional clutter. Maybe it's some business ideas. Maybe it's just working out emotions in yourself and your children. Get it all out on that piece of paper. Take a deep breath out and then set to circling 3 priorities. That's all the further I'm going to tell you on that tool because I've podcasted enough about it. And so if you're already rolling your eyes, you know it works. Tool number 5 is the brain dump. I would encourage you guys to do a 10-minute brain dump today. So in the first 10 minutes of listening to this podcast, if you're like, you know what, the tool number 5, I know she talks about it a lot. I'm going to try it. It'll just take 10 minutes. Take 10 minutes and dump everything out and go from there. You do not need to implement all 5 of my hardest working tools, but what are a couple of your hardest working tools that you are going to stay consistent on or that you're going to introduce? And which one of these tools would make the biggest difference in your life right now? Which one of them are you like, I'm sick of my big, thick planner. I'm sick of it. I want 1 sheet of paper per week. Oh my goodness, I'm your source for that. Go download the weekly agenda. If you're like, man, the brain dump was just really helpful for me. That's all I needed was just to be able to get it out of my head. Great. Maybe it's the Honey Huddle and you really want to get on the same page as your spouse and you want to dream together. Go ahead and download that. All of these tools are definitely my hardest working ones. They're the ones that I return to consistently every single week, and some of them every single day. I love them. I use them. I even coach on them. So I hope they have been helpful. I'd love to hear what your hardest working tools is on our Instagram, the Encourager Podcast. I'd love to see what you guys are using. So if listening to this made you relax a little bit, that there are some systems you can use within your current stage of life, your current roles, all the things that you're running, but you're like, I just need you to help me with my unique circumstance. I would love to stand beside you with one-on-one coaching, help you implement some hardworking tools that you can return to day after day that will be simple enough, but rugged enough to still get the job done. I'd love to pair up with you. Go to the website, theencouragerpodcast.com, book a free discovery call, and let's chat. Until next time, encouragers, we've got this because he's got us. If this podcast has encouraged you or helped you in any way, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe and leave a 5-star review. It truly helps more women find these conversations. And if you're listening thinking, I don't need more motivation, I need someone to help me figure out my actual life, that's exactly what I do. Through Encourager Academy and one-on-one coaching, I help women build personalized systems for their home, work, and life rhythms. No cookie-cutter routines, but structures that fit your unique personality, your season, and your capacity. You can explore the Academy or book a free discovery call at theencouragerpodcast.com. Let's take your next small step forward together.